All right, it says I'm live. Can anybody hear me? Can, can anybody hear me? I have no idea what's going on. It's not showing. Am I coming out clear? You're my eyes and ears. Okay, great, great. I'll give it a minute for because there were some people that were in there, so let's give them a minute, Sharon, and then we'll get started. I have no idea what's going on, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. Mm, Eight. I have no idea what happened, but as long as you guys can hear me now, that's awesome. I have no idea what that was. Um, I just had it set up last night for the podcast and didn't change anything. So I guess when I get done tonight, I'm gonna have to figure out what the problem was. So what I did was I put in my earbuds because I couldn't find my other mic. I don't know where that's at. So I don't know. Very strange. Very strange. I have no idea. So I appreciate the patience, Sharon. I really do. Thank you. Um, so we'll get started. I don't know if you guys caught it last night, but we did a podcast last night with Todd Neese. Fantastic podcast. The guy's been researching for 31 years, and he has a lot of knowledge. He's worked with um, some really big names in the Bigfoot community and stuff like that. Um, when he sent me his bio in the email, it for me to read his entire bio would have taken a whole show by itself. That's how much this man has accomplished in the last 31 years, and he has worked with, like I said, the Four Horsemen. Green, Bendernagel, all of them. He's worked with Jeff Meldrum. Just a laundry list of different people. He's been on 1,000 podcasts and different things like that. So I was really honored that when I spoke to him on the phone and offered the opportunity to come on the show, he jumped on it. He said, "Yeah, I'll absolutely do your guys' show." Um, After the show, we talked a little bit, and he wants to come back. I hope to have him back. It was a great show. But when you watch the show, you notice what we do a little bit different is a couple things that we do different. One is we let them speak. It's all about the guest. Um, throughout the time that I've been doing this as a researcher, as an enthusiast, and everything else, and I go onto podcasts, in the chat rooms, and I watch. I don't get caught up in the conversation in the chat room so much. This is a little bit different because I do this for you. So I want you guys to interact. I want you guys to ask questions. I want you guys to be a part of this. But as far as the podcast goes, when I'm in a chat room, I don't like to pay attention to the conversation because there's usually a side conversation going on, especially if you get trolls in there and stuff like that. And I want to focus on what this guest has to say because he's taken his time out to come on the show and talk to us. He's really doing us a privilege of being on the show. So we like to, when we bring him on, we like to interrupt him very little until the end. Then, as you see when you go on the show, I'm always looking down because I'm writing stuff down. I'm writing stuff. I'm checking the chat and stuff like that. And so I come up with some questions myself that I want to ask. So last night, if you watched the podcast, It was a long podcast. It was over 2 hours long, 2 hours and 15 minutes, I think it was. Um, but it was great. And I think what I took out of the show the most was the fact that everybody knows how I feel about the metaphysical. I'm not a paranormal guy. I just not. It's not that I don't believe paranormal stuff exists. It's just that I have not been able to bridge Bigfoot and the paranormal together. Okay, because and he was able to delve into that and say, okay, these people that, for example, see orbs or they say that Bigfoot disappears and stuff like that. He has a logical, scientific, um, real explanation or theory on why that happens. So it takes he's explaining basically to the metaphysical people that okay, what you see or what you experience is true. You in your mind, the way it comprehended what it just saw is what you just saw. But what really happened? And he breaks that down, and it really opened up my mind last night when I was listening to him. That I kind of felt that with the metaphysical, because I don't like to say the word woo. I think that's a I don't know. It comes across as very childish, so I'm not a very big fan of the word woo. But so I say metaphysical, and I call those people the metas. They're the metaphysical people, and but that's their way of interpreting what they're seeing. Where people in that view things the same way I do is we see things more as real physical evidence. That's why I like to go out there and collect footprints or evidence of structures or um, vocalizations and stuff like that because that's real and I can comprehend that and I can put that on my plate. And when you just say, well, Bigfoot just he disappeared in a portal. Well, that brings up so many questions. Where okay, where was the portal? What did the portal look like? Did you see a portal? Or but he really goes into the reasoning, which really kind of fit. He went more scientific than I do because he's definitely a lot smarter than I am. Um, but I always talk about deer and different animals that just fade away. They're able to just back up and into the brush, and you don't see them, and they're only about 5 feet in there. We've done that in the field with other people and said, hey, as I'm filming you, I want you to walk back until you disappear, and don't move, and just freeze. And they would do that, and you don't see them. And then I'll say, okay, wave your hand. Boom, they're right there. See what I'm saying? So I think when people say that Bigfoot disappears, it's more of your perspective. You know what I mean? I think these things have a natural ability, just like a deer or a panther or anything like that, to vanish, to just blend in with their environment. And he goes into that, and how they're able to do that, why they're able to do that. And granted, it's a theory. I mean, everything that we say is a theory. There's no experts in this field, but his theories are really good, where it kind of makes sense that those are viable options other than a portal opened up. So if you get an opportunity to go back and watch that podcast from last night, granted it's a long podcast, and definitely take your time, put your earbuds in, sit the phone down, and just listen to it because you don't need to look at us while you're listening to a podcast because I do it all the time with Joe Rogan. But you can listen to this guy's theories and stuff like that, and it's really really interesting. And he breaks down the vanishing Sasquatch. He breaks down orbs. Um, he breaks down infrasound. All these different things that make a lot of sense, but they're natural. They're a natural occurrence. They're not metaphysical at all. Okay, it's the same thing like in especially when ghost hunting was very popular and you saw the ghost hunter shows and stuff like that, and they would use the EMF detector to locate these electromagnetic fields, and they would talk about they felt weird or they felt sick or they felt just awkward. And then they would do this EMF thing and say, wow, we're being bombarded by EMF from, the wiring in the walls, the air conditioner unit, or all and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that feeling and stuff is real. You feel it. And if you didn't know about EMF, you wouldn't know where it was coming from. So you automatically think it's paranormal, that, a spirit is messing with me or something like that, when in actuality, it's a natural occurrence. And he goes into all that, which was really, really fascinating. Um, we look forward to having him back. We really do, because, like I said, with 31 years of knowledge in this field, it's difficult to cram it all into a short period of time. And granted, that was only our our second show or something like that, but it was definitely our longest show. But it was worth it. It was interesting. It was great to um, listen to him and and gather that information, because that's what it's all about. That's what this podcast is all about, is bringing in really good evidence and ideas and stuff like that, and having like-minded people come in and talk about these things and stuff like that. It's not like we dismiss the paranormal. We don't dismiss the paranormal, but you have to understand, as a researcher, and we're walking in the woods, which is a physical thing itself. We're walking in the woods. We smell the smells. We feel the air. It takes about, I want to say it takes me about an hour being in the woods, where my whole body kind of, calibrates to the environment, where I'm hearing clearer, I'm smelling better, I'm seeing better. So it takes a little bit while you're in the woods and stuff like that to get all your senses tuned in to your environment. And when you have people like-minded that are the same way, and they said, that's what you have to do. When I go out in the woods, I don't start like, I'll do an intro video of me walking in, but I'm out there for 4 hours, 5 hours at a time, where you guys only get to see about 30 or 40 minutes of the video, because a lot of it is me filming, but there's nothing going on and stuff like that. But it's really cool, where um, you feel like nature. You feel good. That's why I always encourage you guys, get in the woods, man. If you can, if you're physically capable and able to get out there, I highly recommend getting in the woods. I absolutely highly recommend getting out there. So, like I said, it was a great show. If you have time, go back and watch it. If you haven't subscribed, it's Sasquatch Unredacted Podcast. We're having a blast. We've got some kinks. We're trying to work out things and stuff like that. Sometimes we plan on something and then we brain fart and we don't do it, and we're like, oh man, because Johnny is as bad as me. I don't like to go back and watch the video, because I lived it. I was there. So I don't like to go back and watch it, because I know I'll critique the crap out of it. Well, that's what Johnny does. Johnny goes back, he starts watching it, and he starts critiquing things and stuff like that. And I don't like to do that, because it's just going to stress me out. But we're making little mistakes and stuff like that. But there are things that, as a team, as me and Johnny, as the host and co-host, working together, we're going to get better and better and better. Like I said, it took me a long time on my own channel to learn how to edit and do all these things with video. Because if you go back in the archives of my channel, it was rubbish in the beginning. It was trying to put the audio recorder to the microphone so you guys can hear what we heard, or there wasn't a lot of substance. It was evidence, and that was it. And we didn't have a lot. Oh, I'm sorry to see you leave, Sharon. Okay, you have an early start. It is a holiday season. I get it. If anybody is out there watching the show, if you want to jump in the chat, I'm all about answering your questions. So if you've got anything, please jump in, ask some questions. When I do this bi-weekly, it's for you. Okay, it's not about me. It's about you. I'm just rambling until you guys ask a question or something like that. But good night, Sharon. It was great seeing you. So, but like I said, with the podcast, we're learning, we're getting better. We got some great guests lined up in the next couple of months. We're actually booked until um, mid-February. I've got one or two people that I'm trying to get in February. They actually wanted January, but we kind of filled January. Um, I appreciate you, Sharon. I really do, and I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. You're a great supporter, and trust me, I do appreciate you a lot. I really do. Um, where was I? That's why I need you guys in there so you don't keep me on track. Um, so back to the channel. We're making mistakes, but they're little mistakes. Just things that we wanted to say or wanted to ask or wanted to do, and we got so caught up into the interview and stuff like that. But like I said, when you watch the interview, we don't want to interrupt a lot. We want them to talk, and we want them to kind of have it's their time. See what I'm saying? And last night with Todd, it was a great show. Very in depth. Very, I mean, he's very articulate. He goes into detail. He explains a lot of things, and so it was really really good. Our next guest will be coming up because we're not going to do anything else until after the holidays. So we're going to take a break from everything for Christmas and stuff like that because, even though I'm single, I'm not married and no kids or anything like that. Um, I know it's the holidays. It's hard for people to get away and stuff like that. And Johnny's got a family and kids and stuff, so he's going to be doing a holiday thing and stuff like that. And so we're going to wait. But on January 3rd, I've already put it out today. I already kind of posted it out there. We're going to have David Sidoti. He's going to come on January 3rd. That's a Friday night at 8. Fantastic guy. I've gotten to meet Dave a couple of times. Just a pleasant person. Just a very pleasant person to talk to. Very low key. Very respectful. Very good guy. He's got a lot of knowledge. He's been, I want to say, what was it? It's 29 years or something like that. He's been involved in the Bigfoot community and researching and stuff like that. He has a pretty good extensive background working with different organizations and stuff like that. He's created his own organization, which he'll go over when he comes on and stuff like that. But a fantastic guy, and I really look forward to. He was actually I wanted him on the first show, but by the time I was able to get it kind of narrowed down, Johnny had already scheduled somebody, so we put that person on, and then it kind of snowballed from there. So luckily I was able to pinpoint because it wasn't David's issue, it was our issue trying to get him scheduled so we can get him in there and have an opportunity to talk to him. But he's a great guy. You guys are going to like him a lot. He's also in South Florida. He's actually not too far from me, maybe an hour drive, hour and a half. I don't know. I'm in Central Florida. He's in Lakeland, so it's not too bad of a drive. So we have been in communication about getting together and going out in the woods together and do some research together and stuff like that. I think there's a lot that I can learn from him. He's also a self-taught survivalist, so I can learn some things here because, as you guys know in some of my videos, I've had every once in a while I have that issue of getting lost in the woods. I really, that's what I need for Christmas is a really good GPS. But those things can kind of get expensive. So, but I would really like to get a nice GPS. So, I've been out with. There's another guy, Brian. Y'all seen him in a couple of videos that we went in. We also did a podcast together on the Dirt Road Bigfoot while we were live out in the field. Brian Darcy, a really great guy. I respect him a lot. He's a really good guy. Hopefully we'll get him on the show as well. But he had a GPS, and it comes in handy. It comes in really, really good. So, but we had a good time. I was camped out for 5 days, and he came out. I think he was out there for 3 out of the 5, I think. 3 out of the 5 or 4 out of the 5 days we were together out there. So we had a good time. It's when you're out there with another researcher, it's a lot of fun because you can bounce ideas and theories off of each other and stuff like that, which is a lot of fun. And that's a great thing. And I'm very open when I talk to other researchers because I don't have to agree with them. I don't have to. And they don't have to agree with my theories or my ideas and stuff like that as well. But we respect each other, okay? And we work well with each other. Just because we go about it a different way or we have a different theory, we have a common goal and we have a common interest. And as soon as the Bigfoot community comes together and realizes that and starts and stops all this bickering and stuff like that, because you hear the term a lot, community, the Bigfoot community. That's not necessarily the people that watch the shows and stuff like that. When we say community, we're talking about other researchers and stuff like that. And so everybody starts to break down in these little cliques and groups and stuff like that, and nobody gets along. Nobody wants to share information. Nobody wants to talk theory. Nobody wants to talk this, and this. Everything's secretive. Nobody wants to say, hey, this is where I research. I don't have an issue with it. See what I'm saying? If I have a hot spot and everything I'm doing is not working, and somebody else wants to come out there and try something different, or they have something that they think works, I'll open that door for them any day of the week and say, hey, you can come out. This is where I'm at. If you think it's going to work, because we're all in the same goal of proving the existence of this creature. See what I'm saying? We're not proving it to ourselves because we already know it exists. We're trying to prove it to the powers that be, so we can move on to the next step, which is protective. Make sure this species has the land and the resources and stuff to continue to thrive and to continue to exist. That's one of the points I brought up last night with Todd was the moment, and this is how I feel, the moment that we absolutely, without a doubt, prove this thing exists. And I made the point that it's sad. It's sad to say this, but it probably will take a body. Somebody's probably going to have to dispatch one of these things or hit it with a semi truck or whatever, and prove it quickly before the powers that be step in and remove all evidence. But what I was the point that I made with him is the moment that we prove that this thing exists to the powers that be and to society, I feel that it would immediately be put on the endangered species list. See what I'm saying? Because this thing is already rare to capture. Okay, so we know its population can't be in the millions. Okay, so I think instantly protective measures need to be put into place. Now, with that said, though, I think that has happened at a certain extent because y'all have heard me talk about it. I've posted on my page and stuff like that, and maybe we'll bring it up in the podcast. But we actually have a picture of, you can get it on the internet. I don't have the information right here in front of me, but there is a hunting guidelines in Florida that when you read the hunting guidelines, it specifically says in the hog section that there is no taking of Bigfoot or skunk apes in the state of Florida. You're not allowed to shoot one. Well, why would they put that in there? See what I'm saying? It can't be a joke. It can't be like, hey, when we print out this year's hunting guidelines, let's slip that in there. You know what I mean? I think it was purposely put in there because if you do decide, you know what, I'm tired of hearing all this Bigfoot mumbo jumbo, and I see one right now, I'm dropping this thing. I'm going to kill it and I'm going to prove it. Well, the state's kind of got you in a corner because they're going to pull that up and say, oh, by the way, we had this law, we had this rule right here that you can't do that. So they're going to confiscate everything, they're going to take everything or whatever. So when you go public with it, just know there's going to be consequences. And probably the fine will be whatever money you plan to make. So if CNN or Fox News says, hey, we're going to pay you $1 million for the exclusive to talk about this thing and show us this thing, don't be surprised if the state comes in and says it's $1 million fine. See what I'm saying? So I think that that's why that's in there. It's mostly a cover our own butts type ordeal to put that in there. And it's really funny because we bring it up because they slip it in the one section nobody reads. Okay, I was an avid hunter until I had my encounter, and I never read the hog section because there's no rules really in hogs. As long as the land that you're on is okay to hog hunt, There's no rules. You can hunt them at night. You can hunt them with a spotlight. You can hunt them with whatever guns that you have and stuff like that. Hey Patrick, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you again, man. Good to see you. Um, yeah, Sharon's already gone. She had to split. She had to leave early. Um, but it's good to see you, Patrick. It really is. I'm glad everything's good. So in the hunting guideline, we don't look at the hog section because it's like wide open. There's no bag limit. There's no nothing. You can just go out there and just kill these things. Matter of fact, around here, ranchers and stuff like that will pay you to come out there and kill as many hogs as you want to kill. So I can see why they slipped it in that section. See what I'm saying? Because if they slipped it in the turkey or the deer or anything like that, people read those sections because the guidelines change every year. Bag limits change and different things like that. Tags change and stuff like that. So they put it in a section where it's there. It's hidden in plain sight is really what it is. So I can see why they did that. But I'm telling you, if you shoot one, and I'm not for it. I'm absolutely 100%. I'm telling you guys, I'm against dispatching one of these things. But I'm also playing devil's advocate, saying that's probably the only way that we're going to be able to prove their existence. You know, yeah, Delray Beach. Yeah, I know where that's at. You know, um, but like I said, I'm one of those guys that my encounter pushed me out of the woods. It took me a long time to even be where I'm at today, to even walk, just to hike in the woods, to look for the thing that scared me out of the woods. And I'm very honest when I'm out there. I tell you guys in the videos and stuff like that yeah, I'm not feeling really comfortable right now, or I feel a little bit spooked, or I feel like I'm in a bad situation right now where things just don't feel right. You know what I mean? Because of that instance that I had, yeah, I just got these spider senses, and I just got this fight or flight thing. And since my motorcycle accident, I can't run. There's no way I can run. So it's fight, and there's no way I can fight this thing. But I have the same fear out there if I come across a black bear or a panther and stuff like that. And like I said, I do go out there with my pew pew, and it's mostly for other things. It's not Sasquatch. I really don't think my weapon of choice would actually have any effect on it. But I am a believer that it really doesn't matter the caliber. People say, "Oh, you got to have this and that." Getting shot hurts. That's the bottom line. It hurts. So there's penetration even with a 9 millimeter. So if you shoot something with a 9 millimeter, it's going to hurt, and that may be enough to get this thing to stop, or get this thing to run or go away or whatever, so that you can retreat. But I'm not going out there to carry a cannon or anything like that. Do you live near Tim? He would be good to go out with. Just sold my bike, my Triumph. Oh, Triumph's, yeah, it's an old bike. Um, yeah, I was when I got my accident, I was actually riding in a motorcycle club, and I just had somebody pull out, not paying attention. He ran a stop sign, and that was it for me. So went a long time. It was a long road to recovery. Long road. Matter of fact, February 12th, I think, is 13 years. 13 years since the accident, but I still got a lot of metal and stuff like that. A lot of metal in my leg. So yeah, not watching. So anyways, um, you know, like I said, I'm not going to go out there with a cannon or anything. Now, I do things to protect myself. So when I go out in the woods, I still have a hunting and fishing license or anything like that. Because at any point, if I am out there with a rifle or something like that, I can justify why I'm out there with a rifle. Because if you know FWC pulls up and says, "Are you hunting?" It's not hunting season. I was like, "Oh no, I just got the rifle in case Bigfoot jumps out." Trust me, I'm getting a ticket. See what I'm saying? So um, that's why I just carry a pistol, and because when you're hiking and fishing and camping and stuff like that, you can justify why you have a pistol and stuff like that. So chances of me carrying a rifle is pretty slim. But I definitely want the licenses in case I do have to discharge my weapon and stuff like that. So I step in a hole in the woods, tore the ligaments in my foot, surgery January 3rd. It's how I'm getting old. Yeah, trust me, I get it, Patrick. I get it, man. You know, yeah. It's kind of funny. Somebody put it how they say it. When you're young, you're counting up, but when you're old, you're counting down. So, yeah, um, I think I've got more time invested in life right now than what I've got left. So we just make the best of it. That's why I'm always trying to be in a good mood and trying to always be positive and not argumentative and stuff like that. Um, anyways, um, like I said, well, we've got some great guests going up on the podcast. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We're having a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm a long ways from retirement, Patrick. When I say a long ways, that's probably never, probably never going to retire. Even where I work, I told them, I said, y'all just put a plaque over my office door, saying that this is where I worked, because they'll probably find me dead right there at the desk with a heart attack or something. So, but as long as I can walk, and as long as because I get it to a point where I don't, in my field, um, it's like one of those things. If you can't slam dunk the ball, you can coach somebody to slam dunk the ball. And I'm in one of those fields where I may not be able to do in the future what I currently do, but I can still be in the position I'm in because I can coach and teach and train um, new guys getting into this field and stuff like that. So I think I have a long future. I know guys that do what I do and they're in their 70s. Um, but it's one of those things, as a person, as a man, when it's time. So, you know, power plant operator, yeah, I couldn't tell you much about that. No, I usually don't discuss what I do for a living. Um, but uh, so, anyways, um, if you have any questions, throw them out there, Patrick, because we were 32 minutes in, and at the beginning, I had some really bad audio issues. I still don't know what the issue is. I'm not. This mic is here, but I'm not using it right now. I got earbuds in. I got to figure that out when we get done and figure out what that problem was, because I can't have that happen again. Um, so, um, where was I? Where was I? But I plan on being out in the woods tomorrow. Doing some research. I'm going to fly the drone a little bit. I haven't done that in a while. Um, I really like the drone. I think it has its place, especially where I was at. I'm going to probably, I'm 50-50 on where I'm going to go, but if I go back to where I was last time, um, I'm definitely taking the drone because I want to fly way ahead of where I went, and because I went pretty far back, but it just kept going and going and going because it's a pretty large area. And like I said, I started getting that EBGBs and didn't want to go further and stuff. So I'm going to fly the drone and just to give me a look on what's ahead and what I could possibly run into and stuff like that. So it's one of the downfalls of going out there by yourself. It would be nice to have somebody I can go out with on a regular basis and stuff like that. But I would pretty much bet money that I'm the only uh, Bigfoot person in my entire county. You know, it's really funny because I have two vehicles. I have a hybrid, that I drive to work and back because it's better on gas. But I also have a Dodge truck, and Dodge is not known for having good gas mileage. So I usually drive the Dodge truck on the weekends. And I went to Burger King last weekend to get breakfast, and while I was sitting in the drive-through, I look in my rearview mirror, and the guy behind me is taking photographs of the back of my truck because I have all this Bigfoot stuff on the back and stuff like that, and my YouTube channel and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting because it's probably not something commonly seen in this area. Um, but a lot of people know that this is what I do, and it's not my day job; it's a hobby. I don't get paid to do this. Um, Everything I've done is self-funded. It gets expensive. Y'all have seen it. We've done some stuff in the past where we talked about equipment and stuff like that. The stuff gets expensive, you know. Um, Yeah, it does. It does, Patrick. It does open up conversation when people will come up to me. I met a guy that had a sighting. He just wouldn't go on record. Um, he told me what happened. I wish I'd gone into more detail with him because when I was talking to him, I said, "Look, I don't want to hear the whole thing because I want to do an interview. I want to get you on an interview to talk about it." And he was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that'd be great and all that." But after that, the answer was no. As soon as I got home and stuff like that, I sent him my information and stuff like that, and radio silence after that. So it does bring up conversation because he saw my windows and said, "Oh, you do that?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, so he started going into his encounter. Now I wish I just let him talk and listen to it, but I would have rather him to be the one that tells his story and stuff like that, because everybody's encounter is their encounter, and I think it's important that if they want us to get that encounter, we give them the platform to do that, and that's why podcasts are important because it gives that person that opportunity to do that. Um, Especially on our show, we're not going to. I mean, we people know me and Johnny. They know where we stand. They understand. We've been around long enough and been around the research, you know, um, genre for a while, so people understand what our beliefs are and how we feel and stuff like that. So, um, like I said, we don't discount the stuff. We just my plate is full. Like I get questions all the time about Dogman. Have you seen a Dogman or this and this and this? And my answer is no. I be honest, I've never had anything that ever told me that Dogman exists. Now, I'm not going to sit there and tell somebody that what they saw or whatever isn't what they saw, but it's their encounter and it's something for them to share. It's just on our show, we really don't want to get into Dogman and all this stuff because one, I don't have any input on it because I have no knowledge of it or no background on it or anything like that. And two, I don't search for it because my plate is already full. You know, just searching for Bigfoot is a lot of work and it's a lot of time and it's a lot of money. So I don't want to add other things on my plate. That's really where I stand. I just don't want to add a lot of things to my plate. Um, I'll sit and listen, you know, but in my mind, I just think that when people see a dog man, it's just misidentified. It's either a type of Sasquatch, and I say type. It's just, like I said, the same as humans. There's Chinese type. There's you know, um, African type. There's European type, but we're all the same. But it's just different types of people, and I think that's what it is with Sasquatch. Is some have big noses, some have round mouths, and just different things that make them different. So but I haven't seen anything that's concrete that a dog man exists. I know there's a lot of channels out there that's what their focus is on is dog man. My focus is Bigfoot. That's where I want to stick to, and that's what I'm going to do. So, uh, well, I agree, Patrick. There are a lot of things out there. Like I said, I saw something one day. I don't know what it was. It wasn't very big. It was whatever it was. The top of it, which I assume because I only saw it above the palmettos, was I would assume was the top of the head, but it couldn't have been more than 3 feet, 4 feet tall. I mean, it wasn't very tall, and I just saw the head moving on the other side. So I positioned myself because I knew there was a trail right there, and if it continued where it was going, it was going to walk right in front of me. But it never did. So I decided to walk over there and cut it off, and I found nothing. So I don't know what it was. Like I said, I saw about I don't know a half a football. You know what I mean? Portion of it. I didn't see everything. All I could tell you is what I saw and what color. It was like a grayish brown kind of weird color. It's just a lot of gray, but it wasn't very big. And but it was whatever it was. It was taller than the palmettos that were sitting there. And what alerted me to something was a rabbit had come out, and that rabbit was booking, and the rabbit was running right towards me. It was not veering one way or the other. It was coming right at me, and that rabbit didn't veer until it got probably within 5 feet of me, and then it kind of veered around me, and then went down, another trail. That's what alerted me that this thing's running from something. There's something chasing this particular creature, and which was the rabbit. So I knelt down and I waited because whatever it was coming this way, and that's when I saw the top of whatever it was, and but that was it. I never got the opportunity to see the whole thing, and I was really excited at that time too. That whatever it was. So I think there's things out there. Maybe it's explainable, maybe it's not. I don't know. I can only go that far with it because I didn't get to see the whole thing. Um, but there are things out there that I think are viable. You know what I mean? People talk about um, full grown but small Sasquatch looking creatures. They're small, but they're full grown, like Ewoks or something like that, and they roam the forest and forage and stuff like that. And Indian tribes talk about them as well. Um, I'm open to the possibility that those things exist. See what I'm saying? And if I come across them in the woods, I'm gonna document it just like I document everything else. Um, what's that? Okay, man, my offer still stands. $10,000 for the first Bigfoot turd. Yeah, I brought that up in a past show where we were talking about it. Here's the issue: is if you find scat in the woods, you have to go through the process, and it's expensive to have it DNA tested just to confirm anything. So if you have it tested and they say, hey, look, we don't know what it is, but it's not canine, it's not bear, it's not human, it's not this, it's not that, we don't know what it is. Well, see, now you have to have another one to compare it to. But then you're still going to run into the problem until you know what it came from to say this is what this is. So your $10,000 deal is probably going to stand for a long time because the process to even validate what you have is next to impossible. See what I'm saying? Unless a turd is found and there was a Sasquatch, they saw it squat, and then it went and ran over there, and the Sasquatch ran away, and they found a turd, and they bagged the turd, and they say, hey, I saw what left this, and then they test it, and they say, well, it absolutely comes back as something unknown. I'm not going to say primate or whatever, but if they say, it came back some kind of hominid or primate or something like that, and you're like, yep, there ain't no primates, and there was no other humans. It was me and seeing it and blah blah blah. Now you're starting to build that, test this. Now you have two things that work together. You have a visual confirmation on what left it, and then you have the DNA from the scat. Now, if somebody else finds scat and they have it tested, now you have a comparison. See what I'm saying? So without that, it's actually worthless. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that claim to have scat, they claim to have hair, they claim to have this and this, and it sits in their freezer. You know what I mean? Unless you have the money, and people think, well, it's $100 or $200. No, it's actually very expensive to have it properly DNA tested. We're talking thousands of dollars. We're not talking a little bit of chump change. And those of us that are out there looking for this thing and collecting evidence, we don't got that kind of money. So, it is, Patrick. It's very expensive, especially on top of the equipment and the gear that we're already purchased to be out there looking for this thing. It's DNA is very, even a paternity test. If you ever look at that when the courts, if a parents are debating if the child's the father's or not, and the court orders a paternity test, just that paternity test, which is an easy test because you have something to compare it to. I'm taking the blood from this man, so I know where the substance came from. Now I'm testing it, blah blah blah, and you can compare it to his mother, his father, his brothers, his sisters, and you can say, yeah, this is his DNA. And then you test the child, and it has the same DNA or the markers that says yes, this is the father. That test alone is over $600. That's over 600, and I know that for a fact because I knew somebody had to go through that process. And so DNA testing is not cheap. So I think your $10,000 is pretty safe in the bank, man. Really do. You know what I mean? Even though I would love to get that $10,000 and say here's a turd, but you would have to pay to get it DNA tested, and non-refundable. So I don't know. I would. That's a pretty safe bet. You know what I mean? That's it's pretty tough. It's like saying a UFO is from Mars. You know, you don't know where it came from. We don't know. So I mean, we didn't track its path from Mars to Earth, so we don't know. So DNA is a tough one. But I'm big on DNA. I think DNA is very important, especially environmental DNA. I think environmental DNA, or also called eDNA, I think is a valuable tool. But again, you got to have the money to have that test done and stuff like that, because if you can go to a, like I said, I brought it up in the past. If you can go to a lake or something like that and test the water, you can figure out a number of species from the water that have drank out of that water, or excremented in that water or whatever. So eDNA is very, very important. Um, I'd get a thermal drone if I had the money to burn. Yeah, thermal drones are very expensive. That's why I envy Randy Harrington. He's got a thermal drone. The thing costs 20 grand. They're very expensive, but I think they have their purpose. You know what I mean? But like I said, everything is just a tool. Everything has its limitations. Everything. Yeah, I went over that when we went over equipment. Everything has its limitations. So um, even with the drone, with thermal, um, sometimes it's hard to distinguish what's out there. And when you fly it, the tree canopy is always going to block what you're seeing and stuff like that. Because we talked about that one time. We brought up that one video, which again popped up on my feed somewhere, um, because you got trolls out there that keep keep this stuff going and going and going, even after it's been explained 1,000 times. They want to keep throwing it out there. They just change the narrative and stuff like that. But y'all have all seen that drone footage where the drone is looking down and it's following a Bigfoot walking through the woods. It's absolutely fake. There's no doubt in my mind. I would put $10,000 on it that was fake. Um, for first of all, and I did get into a discussion with this young lady that, because I made the comment that drones don't have sound. They don't record sound. I have a drone. I'm telling you, they don't record sound. Randy Harrington's got a $20,000 drone that has thermal, night vision. He has all the bells and whistles. They don't record sound. And when I say that, it's because the props are too loud. Okay. Now, you can't hear my drone when it's up 200 feet up, without really straining to hear it. But that microphone to catch sound is right there on the drone, so it's catching all those propellers, and it's very, very loud when you're close up to it. So it'd be impossible to record sound. And in that video, it's quiet except for you hear the Bigfoot crunching the snow, which is impossible. It's impossible. And they only showed that portion of the film. I've actually seen the entire film. And this guy driving his truck down the road and says, "Oh, there's a Bigfoot sighting up here, so I'm going to go check it out." And then all of a sudden, it goes straight to that part, where he's flying over this Bigfoot. So I think the whole thing is fake. I think it was staged. It's somebody in a costume, and that's why I think they decided to go with a drone, because if it was any other footage, you'd probably be able to see the face or see more features and say, yeah, that's a costume. Looking down on something is a little bit more difficult, but it's definitely fake. It's definitely fake. Yes, I've been out with Randy in Missouri. He had his drone. Yeah, he's got an amazing drone. You know what I mean? And I think the world of Randy. There's a lot of researchers out there that I follow, and I follow them for specific reasons, because I believe in the work that they're doing, and I like their frame of mind. Randy's one of those guys. Randy, he thinks outside the box. He's definitely invested a lot of time and a lot of money into the research, and you've got to respect that. You know what I mean? Now, me and Randy may not agree on different theories and stuff like that, but I respect the heck out of the guy. I really respect Randy a lot. Matter of fact, I think today was the last day he spent, I want to say, a week in the woods at a new research area. So I'm really interested to see what he puts out, what he found, and stuff like that. He's very well rounded. Randy's very well rounded, where he's got a pretty much a handle on audio, which I do not. I do not. I don't have a handle on audio whatsoever. Um, but he has a handle on audio. He has a handle on video. So he's very well versed in the equipment that he's using and stuff like that. He's very good about getting the information out. Same with Johnny Two Bears. That's why me and Johnny are friends, is because I really like what he does. He thinks outside the box, and he's really really good about getting that information out there and showing people what he's finding and what he's seeing and stuff like that. And one of my bucket lists was to actually research with both of them, but I did get the opportunity to research with Johnny. I drove up to Georgia and we went to one of his research areas and we had a blast. We had a good time. He had, two of his guys, and we had three of us up there, and so there's a total of six of us, and we had a blast. And even though we didn't catch anything substantial, we had some great things happen. But the camaraderie between all of us was fantastic. Those guys up there in Georgia are just great people. I love the terrain. It was beautiful up there. Absolutely, if I get the time and the money, I would do it again in a heartbeat. Absolutely. And they always have an open door to come down here and research anytime they want. Johnny, Randy, Dave Sidoti, all the ones that I mentioned. Todd Neese. If Todd Neese wants to come down, he wants to get together. Open invitation anytime he wants. It's that camaraderie. It's that getting out there and working together because, like I said, we all have a common goal. We all do. And the great thing about it is our end game is always conservation. Always. You know what I mean? And there is an end game. There's a time where, there's a day that it's the last time we do something. See what I'm saying? There was a time in your life, it was the last day you played with your neighbor. There's the last day you saw a particular person. Our life is full of the last. And I know there's going to be a day where it's the last day that I get an opportunity to do what I'm doing. And so I take advantage of it. I get out there when I can, and I enjoy the time I get out there, even though, like I said, sometimes I get some anxiety and I get the EPGBs while I'm out there. I definitely feel a lot more comfortable when I'm with somebody, just in case something happens. That's my biggest fear is something happening to me and nobody can find me. Nobody's out there. Nobody knows where I went because I don't have somebody to call and say, hey, I'm going squatching today. This is where I'm going. See what I'm saying? I don't have that luxury. So, I will, Patrick. I will enjoy it every opportunity I get. Um, but especially in South Florida, if there's a researcher here or something like that, another researcher is Marie Demont. She's with Mid Florida Bigfoot Research Group. She's come out with me. She's camped with me. Um, and she's always got an open invite anytime she wants to come and spend time here. It's always there. She's given me an open invite, to come out with her group and go out to different areas that they like to go to, like the Green Swamp and different things like that. Excuse me. I've never got a chance to go out to the Green Swamp. I've driven through it. It's a pretty interesting area to say the least. And I know there's been a lot of sightings out there and stuff like that. So, you know, Merry Christmas to you too, Patrick. I appreciate that. You know, um, but that's one of the things on my list. I would like to get out to the Green Swamp. It's about probably a 2.5 hour drive for me to get out there and do that. But it's something definitely on my list. Hey Sharon, good to see you. Nice to see you. Um, So if anybody's got any questions, jump in, throw some questions at me. Um, I'm more than happy to answer anything that you have and stuff like that. Um, but like I said, I'm going out tomorrow. Um, hey, Dirt Road, my buddy, Dirt Road. You know, um, Steamboat. I have not seen you in here before. Hi, how you doing, Steamboat? East Texas. Awesome, awesome. East Texas. Texas is another place I wouldn't mind going and checking out that area and stuff like that. And the area that I would like to go to in Texas is that area that's Texas, but goes into Louisiana. I mean that upper, what do you call it, northeastern area. That's where I would like to go. You know. Oh man, that's good, Steamboat. Try to document whatever you can, buddy. Try to document as much as you can. You know, that's one of the key things I tell everybody. Document, document, document. Just try to get as much information as you can because it all helps. Everything helps, right? I'm right at the part, LA Text Boy. See, that's Steamboat. That's exactly the area that I was talking about. I've looked at it on maps and stuff like that, and it looks like a very viable area, and I would definitely like to check that out and stuff like that. I have a lot of things on my bucket list. I'd love to go to Oregon. Definitely would like to go up there, but everything's money. Time is money. You know. Oh yeah, I'd love to check out anything you got, Steamboat. If you ever want to share Steamboat, just um, hit me up, and you can go to my email, which is bffg Bigfoot Research at gmail.com. And have you ever had a sighting, Steamboat? Have you actually had a visual? You know, I would love for you to check out. Yeah, your evidence. But if you've ever had an actual um, visual, I'd love to hear about it. Really would. That'd be fantastic. You can also hit us up at um, Sasquatch Unredacted at gmail.com too. That's our podcast. So um, the BFFG Bigfoot Research at gmail.com. That's this channel. This is mine. The Sasquatch Unredacted at gmail.com is the podcast that me and Johnny do together. And like I said, again, back with the podcast, we're doing it bi-weekly. And there's a reason why we're doing that. I appreciate it, Steamboat. Please do. Steamboat, I'm there for you, man. Just whatever you want to share. Um, I won't pressure you to share something you don't want to share. Just whatever you want to, talk about and stuff like that. It'd be fantastic. Um, but with the podcast, we do it bi-weekly because one, we got personal lives. We work and stuff like that. But two, it gives us time to not only get a guest for the show, but it gives us time to research the guest and talk to the guest back and forth and get to know the person. So when we do have the show, we have this personal connection with the guest and stuff like that. So it's really important that we do that. And second of all, we don't want to get burned out. We don't want to do constant podcasts. There's people out there that do like 3 or 4 podcasts a week and stuff like that, or they just do it every opportunity they get. They're on there doing it, and it's just too much for me. Like I said, my plate is really really full. I don't know how Dirt Road does it. The man's a machine. I swear to God, he's a machine. You know. Patrick's 45 here in Louisiana, but the northern wind blows. It's freezing. Been out in it all day. Oh yeah, it's I think in the morning here. I'm in South Florida, and it's going to be in the 40s in the morning. So it does get cold in Florida. It may not snow, but it does get cold. And when we talk about cold, it'll be like 40 degrees, at 6 a.m. But by noon, it's mid 70s and sometimes even in the 80s. So that 40-degree temperature really messes with you. You know what I mean? So then when your body's warmed up, it's 80 something, 70 something degrees outside. Then night falls and that temperature drops quickly. Um, it's pretty uncomfortable. I live in South Florida for a reason. is because I don't do winter. I don't do winter very well at all. And I've lived in places. I lived in North Carolina for 8 years. That was the biggest lie ever told to me was when I went to North Carolina. When I moved there, that was one of the first questions I asked is, how often does it snow here? And they said, oh, it never snows. It's rare, very rare. I was there 8 years and it snowed every single year that I was there. So they were full of crap. They lied to me. They were messing with a Florida boy. But I've lived in Chicago. I was a public safety officer up there in Cook County. Winters up there suck. It just sucks. And I've done that twice. I think the first time I went up there, I was up there for 14 months. And then the second time I went up there, I was up there for 16 months. Both times, miserable. Miserable. There's no doubt that cold weather makes you a bad person. It makes you irritable. There is no doubt. You know what I mean? Because I was miserable the whole time. Yeah, wet cold. Wet cold's the worst, Sharon. The worst. The worst. So anyhow, like I was saying with the podcast, we're doing it bi-weekly, but it also frees us up because, like I said, me and Johnny have our own channels to take care of. Mine's kind of faltered. I haven't done everything I want to do in the last couple of weeks because I've been focused on other things. Work has got me really kind of messed up, and then and stuff like that. So, but I'm trying to get back into a swing, trying to get back into a rhythm. I got to have a routine. I got to have a rhythm. I ride motorcycles year round for over 4 years straight now. I know cold. Steamboat. I rode with a motorcycle club that I won't mention, and I was with them for almost 10 years. And I rode in every type of weather you can imagine. And I remember one time we were doing the wreaths across America for veterans, and we were riding to the cemetery, and it was 26 degrees that morning. And you can download this, but there's a map, not a map, it's a screen that you can download, and it tells you on a motorcycle the speed. Basically, it's the wind chill. So that day it was 26 degrees when we got on the bike around 5 a.m. to start heading out, and with the wind chill, it was 9. It was 9. So yeah, I've ridden in some really cold weather on a motorcycle, but the worst is just bad thunderstorms. I've been in some really, really bad weather. And when you're riding in a club, there's no stopping. They drive right through it. They drive right through it. It's always a test of intestinal fortitude. That's what it is. So you just push through it and go home and try to dry all your leather the best you can. That's all I can say. But for a long time, that's all I owned. I rode 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's all I owned was a motorcycle. So now I don't own a bike at all. So yeah. Dirt Road says I ain't talking about Indiana. It's cold up there. Me and Dirt Road talk quite a bit. We talk a couple times a week at least, and he'll tell me how cold it is up there, and I'll tell him how warm it is down here. So, rain sucks. So anyways, like I said, we're doing it bi-weekly. There'll probably be a rare occasion where, due to scheduling, we might have a guest that they can only interview on a certain time, so we might have to do it weekly just to get them in. So that would be a 3-week period where we had one, then we had a bi-weekly, but we had to throw that person in the middle. I expect that to happen at some point. Sorry about that, guys. I'm wearing the earbud, and it's got the cord, and I put my hand down and hit the cord, and it pulled my laptop. So, I don't know why they retracted. So there'll be occasions where we might be back-to-back guests, but we try to plan it, like I said, every other week. And I'm not going to announce who we've got scheduled up until February. Anytime I'm just going to announce who we have coming next. And like I said, Dave Sidoti, he's coming up next. Fantastic guy. I really like him a lot. Like I said, he's just mellow, easygoing, just a good guy. Good guy all around, and I'm really excited about having him on the show. I look forward to talking to him and stuff like that. Like I said, he brings. I appreciate it, Steamboat. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Steamboat just subscribed. Appreciate it. Also subscribe to the Sasquatch Unredacted podcast. You know, that way you get to see some of the guests and stuff, the interviews and stuff like that. Um, like I said, this show right here, when I do it, it's not a podcast because I'm not interviewing anybody. I decided to do this because I wanted to touch base with my subscribers and talk to you guys and answer questions and stuff like that. So um, it's just my opportunity to connect because everything I do, it's really for you guys. That's what got me to do the whole YouTube with the Bigfoot research. It was twofold. The reason why it came to be was twofold. One, I was accumulating all this evidence and all this videos and all this stuff, and it was compiling, and I had no place to put it. And I didn't want to delete anything. I was like, man, I don't want to get rid of this stuff, But when you have hours and hours of video, what do you do with it? So I say, I'll start a YouTube channel, and basically it'll be my dumping ground. It'll be where I put this stuff, so I can always go back to it and look at it again. See what I'm saying? So that's really what started it. But also, I'm a people person, and I knew there were people out there that don't have the capability of doing what I do. They either live in big cities and they don't have the opportunity to go into the woods, or they don't have areas. There's not large forested areas to go camping and hiking, or it could be a physical restriction that keeps them from being able to go out in the woods and stuff like that. And this gives them an opportunity to vicariously, you know, go out with me and stuff like that. So I wish I could do it live every time I go out there, but the places I go, you lose service really fast. So that's kind of difficult. Um, but I do try to get the information out as quickly as I can. Like I said, you're not always going to get evidence with me. I can tell you that right now. Those of you guys that had subscribed to me and been with me for a long time know that the evidence isn't always there, and y'all know how I feel about that. Those channels that every single time they go out, they have evidence. Every single time they go out, they have a visual. Every time, that's a red flag. I can talk to a lot of researchers, and they'll tell you a lot of times you're out there, you get nothing. Now you can get some anecdotal evidence. You know what I mean? You might have recorded a sound and you really don't know what it is, but it's just anecdotal. I shared it with Dirt Road. I haven't shared it anywhere else, but Dirt Road has heard it. But the last time I camped out for 5 days, I left audio equipment out. There's this one section in this audio. I'm just not good at the audio. I have Audacity. I just don't know how to work it where I can pull this clip and just that portion, save it so I can put it out there so you guys can hear this. I don't know how to do that, and I can't figure it out. So anybody who's really good at Audacity and that can walk me through it, it'd be fantastic. I can't figure it out. But anyways, I left the audio out, and the long story short is something walks right past the audio. I mean, loud. There's like nothing stopping it. It's walking through the brush. It's not being quiet. It's not trying to hide itself. It's just walking through the brush. And the timestamp on it, because I timestamp everything when I do my audio, this is definitely well after sunset. So I think it was around 8 something at night. So it's dark. It's quiet, other than bugs and stuff. This thing just crunches just right through. And as me as a hunter or a past hunter, I don't know a lot of animals that do that just nonchalantly just walk through the woods breaking brush. Bears don't do it. Bears are very silent when they're walking in the woods. Deer are silent in the woods. Panther are silent in the woods. So I don't know what this was. Okay, but what I can tell you is the area that I put the audio, I purposely put the audio there because this is an area that I've caught a lot of evidence. I found a dead hog that I cannot explain how it died, but it had its legs broken, multiple arches, just a bunch of different stuff in that area that I like that area. So let me catch up on this. I have some proving grounds out here. Come spend a week in East Texas. I'd love to come, Steamboat. Really would. It's all about this though, but I really would. You know, uh, Sasquatch Brigade. Still haven't figured out one out yet either. Yeah, see, because like I said, Dirt Road listened to it. It's very weird. It's very weird. Whatever it is it's breaking brush, and it walks literally. It has for the audio to pick it up that loud and that clear. It had to have walked within a foot to 10 feet past my audio, and it didn't mess with the audio. It didn't or anything like that. It just walked right past it, and you heard it just kind of fade away, just walk away. It's not a person. I can guarantee you it's not a person because I was so far back there. I think when we GPSed it when I was with Brian, um, from the vehicle to that spot was a mile and a half or something like that, hike, just to get to that location. And we had gone out there. I didn't even recognize the area because we had the hurricanes. So I was really interested to see what kind of damage that area took. And hey, Johnny's on here. Everybody say hi to Johnny. Um, so I wanted to put audio in that area because it had been a long time since I'd been in that area. Like I said, Johnny, I need to send it to Johnny because Johnny knows audio. I can't. I'm trying. I just cannot figure out audio. But like I said, I took this um, digital recorder with a attached microphone, strapped it with a zip tie to a tree. I'll say tree. It was actually a palmetto with a shoot coming off of it. And throughout the day, I'm listening to it. When I came back home, I'm listening to audio. Evidently, a squirrel found my microphone extremely interesting. It did not leave it alone for a very long time. He was very upset that that the audio equipment was there in his territory, evidently. So he was pretty pissed off. I had a bird playing around and stuff like that. You can hear bugs landing on and just staying right there at the microphone. But this was different. Like I said, this was nightfall. It was dark, and it was silent for a long time. And then all of a sudden, like I said, you just hear something like walking right through the brush. Like it had no care in the world. It just tearing through the brush. And like I said, I don't know an animal that does that. Most animals are quiet. They don't want to give themselves away, especially if they're searching for food or anything like that. Um, I'm not great at it, but I can amplify it. Bugs me. You wouldn't have to amplify this, Johnny. You wouldn't have to amplify it at all. I played it for Dirt Road over the phone. It's very clear. I just don't know what to do with it. I don't have. I have Audacity, but I can't figure out Audacity to cut that portion of the audio and make it its own. I don't know, 30-second minute clip to send that to somebody and say, listen to this. What do you think? But again, it's anecdotal because I can't say what it was. When I talked to Brian, who was with me that week, Brian Darcy, um, he was like, "Man, I wish I put up a trail cam. If he had put up a trail cam, which is what I plan on doing next time, is putting audio out, and then about I don't know I don't know how far a trail cam will pick up movement, but whatever length of distance that is, put it on a tree facing the audio. So if this ever were to happen again, we can see what it was that walked past the audio equipment. Because to this day, it bothers me. To this day, I have no idea what it was that walked past. But to me, it sounds bipedal. And like I said, it did not give a crap. It just walked right through the woods. Like it walked through things. It didn't walk around things. It walked through things. So very interesting. You say you're not great at it, Johnny, but if you know one thing more than me, you're great. Because I don't know anything. All right. Good night, Johnny. Well, that's what I'm saying, Dirt Road. What we've got on audio is very clear, but still can't determine what it is. Everybody knows me. When I put out evidence and I put stuff out there, I never, ever, ever claim Bigfoot. Ever. Okay? You won't find one video out of 400 something videos where I say that was a Bigfoot. Never. Because I don't know. if I catch an audio, I'll play it for you. And I've got some audio that's just amazing. It's scary, amazing. Where I'm like, thank God I wasn't in the woods to hear that. I mean, it was just that scary, and like just this loud roar, like a dinosaur was out there. Just this loud Tyrannosaurus Rex roar, stuff like that. But again, it's anecdotal. Until you see what made the noise, you don't know what it is. Okay, it's the same with the one guy earlier talking about scat. I'll pay $10,000 if I can prove scats from Bigfoot. I can give you audio, but I still can't prove it's from a Bigfoot until you see the creature do that, and it actually come out of its mouth. We don't know. But what we can do is narrow down the options, and that's what a lot of researchers do. Is we go back and we start researching similar sounds or similar noises or similar this, and we kind of try to narrow it down what it is or is not. Especially from Florida, it's very easy to narrow down the species of animals that we have in these areas and what it could or could not be. So if I hear this loud roar, I can narrow it down to three things right off the bat. It's either a bear, it's either a human, or it's either an unknown. Okay, that's all I can do. I can't tell you exactly what it is. I got a security camera footage from a friend of a Type 3 maybe. I walked up and takes a raccoon out of a trap and walks away. I would like to see that. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. You know what I mean? I don't get into the types though, Steamboat. That was I forgot the name of the guy that actually came out with the theory of types. I just think they're all just different looking. They're just different looking, just like me and you don't look the same. Me and Dirt Road don't look the same. Dirt Road's way better looking than me. Everybody's better looking than me. So, um, oh, good night, Sharon. It was really good to see you again. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you, Sharon. God bless and have a Merry Christmas. Have a Merry Christmas, Sharon. Um, but like I said, we get into anecdotal evidence, and that's all we have right now. Again, I'm not big on taking pictures because pictures can one be fake, changed, pixelated, stuff like that. I would honestly say that at this point in my research, I would say 90% or better of the photos that I've seen or been sent to me are hoaxes. 90% or better, because people are going to send me this blob squatch, super pixelated thing, but they won't give me the original. They won't give me the metadata, and they won't give me the narrative. You know what I mean? So I have to discount it because you've zoomed in, screenshotted, zoomed in, screenshotted, zoomed in, screenshotted. So what was the original picture when you're looking at it is now this blob, blurry, pixelated, and people are doing that on a daily basis and posting it out there. God, what is that? I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start saying the names of some of these people because um, what is his name? Y'all see him on some of these sites. Author Joseph something. Author Joseph something. Everybody's seen it's Joseph something. Author Joseph something. And there's another one that just gives initials, MJB or M something or whatever. Those two people are hoaxing everybody. Hoaxing everybody. Period. You know what I mean? And I get tired of seeing their photos and they put them out there and they are wrong. They are wrong. Okay? Um, it frustrates me no end that these people just flood the internet with this stuff, which deteriorates Bigfoot research because you guys are common sense people. Every person I've had contact with on this chat are very intelligent people. And what happens is somebody new comes into the Bigfoot arena to look and stuff, and they see that stuff, they walk away going, Bigfoot people are nuts. Bigfoot people are crazy. And that's what it does. It just distorts everything. It muddies the waters. And those people need to stop. You know, um, it's just ridiculous. But you're not going to stop them. They're going to still do it and think they're the bee's knees of the Bigfoot world because they're getting all these fantastic pictures and stuff like that. Um, There's another one. I don't like this guy whatsoever, so I don't mind saying his name. When you get done talking to Steamboat, send him my way. I want to talk to him about some things. Hey, stop it, Dirt Road. I already talked to him. He's going to email me. You've been watching that. No, but there's this other guy, Mark Landry. I'll call him out. I don't care. And I caught him a couple years ago hoaxing, hoaxing. Okay, because he doesn't think people are intelligent enough to read full his bullcrap. So everything that he puts out there is fake. He either creates it himself and then takes a photo of it and then tells you this is a structure and stuff like that, or something else. The guy is a flat out liar, and I tell everybody if he's on your Facebook page or he's on your channel or whatever, you need to get rid of him because what he does is he posts all this stuff. The guy's created like 4 or 5 different Bigfoot channels. For some reason, I guess he forgets his password or whatever, has to create a whole new channel because he can't remember to get into the old one. But anyways, um, he puts out this fake stuff, and then I caught him, plain as day. So I sent him a message. I said, look, dude, this is bullcrap. You got to stop doing this. This is ridiculous. He wants to argue with me. See what I'm saying? But he made a mistake because he started putting out all these photos. And one of the photos, he zoomed in and it looked like a Bigfoot running. Okay? Perfect pareidolia. It did. It looked like 2 arms, 2 legs. It was running. Okay? And it was going behind something, which he claimed was a boulder. So you see this black figure running behind something large and black. Well, then he sends out another photo, and it's the face of a Bigfoot. Okay? And I'm like, so I'm looking at that picture. I'm like, it's pareidolia. But then he sends out a third photo, and it's him looking at a root ball. This giant tree fell, and it's this root ball. So I zoomed in on that root ball in his photo. Down at the bottom was that little running Bigfoot going behind a boulder, which he said was a boulder. It was actually the root ball, and it was that figure was the roots. Then I looked at the top right corner of that root ball. There was the face of Bigfoot. So how do you have this big face of Bigfoot, but you got this little Bigfoot down here running? So that Bigfoot that he says is running can't be more than a foot tall, and then the head has got to be the size of a bucket. See what I'm saying? But they're all in the same picture. See what I'm saying? So I sent him that and said, I circled those things and sent it to him and said, so explain this to me. All of a sudden, I didn't hear a word from him. See what I'm saying? All of a sudden, he didn't want to have that argument other than some profanities. He wanted to, and stuff like that. But what his MO does, and this is what irritates me, his MO is once he's in your Facebook page or whatever, he's going to ask you for money. Every single time he asks for money. He gives you the sob story that, he lost his job, he's homeless, he's living in a tent in the woods and all this stuff, which is probably true. Probably true. Okay? But he uses the Bigfoot platform, and because the Bigfoot community is good people and very smart and very caring people, that he's hoping to pull that money from you and stuff like that. I'll call him out 7 days a week. I'll call him out 7 days a week. I have no respect for that whatsoever. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying. So if you have that guy, I would definitely steer away from him. Yeah, exactly, Steamboat. I'm the same way. I'm all about sharing, and I'm not about making any money. I've made it abundantly clear, very clear. This channel never be monetized. Absolutely, this channel will never ever be monetized. Um, it's just I'm not in it for the money at all. I'm not looking at getting the money back and stuff like that. Now, with that said, though, if I have an outside sponsor, somebody who wants to sponsor a small portion of what I'm doing or something like that, help pay for gas or something like that, I'm okay with that. But as far as monetizing this channel and going to the public and saying, hey, subscribe to this and, become a member and pay $2.99 a month or anything like that, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not going to sell merchandise. I'm not doing any of that stuff. Yeah, I'm the same way. I can look at a picture and tell you if it's AR or not. I think the funniest one lately was Todd Standing. He posted this picture of a Bigfoot with a mountain scene just recently, just in the last couple of weeks. Then the real photo came out, and it was he only zoomed in and just did a portion of the Bigfoot. He cut out the portion where you see the mountain. But when you look at the original photo, somebody put out the original photo. It's all AI. It's a Bigfoot walking in a forest, and the mountain is also a Bigfoot portrait. See what I'm saying? So it was all done by AI. It's a nice photo. It's a pretty photo, and I wouldn't mind having it hanging on my wall. It's a nice photo. Whoever created it, but it's not real. See what I'm saying? Um, so it's just one of those things. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is, here's what I when we talk about Todd Standing. Let me tell you about Todd Standing. This is my opinion on Todd Standing. Um, yeah, you saw that steamboat. It was funny. It was funny because he came back later and corrected himself. He did come back later and do a video about. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it, but on the second video, I saw the whole photo. So it kind of told me that he was going to explain something or whatever. I didn't watch it. Um, but anyways, here's the thing with Todd Standing. Let me explain something with you with Todd Standing. I think originally Todd Standing was on the right path. I really do. I think when he does research, he's doing actually good research. Okay. But I think at some point he needed funding, and which means he needs to have evidence. Nobody's going to fund you unless you're saying, hey, this is what I'm finding. So I think that's where he came into the hoaxing and created the hoax, I can look at those and they still make their rounds in the internet with the faces of Bigfoot that he caught and stuff like that. You can tell they're fake. I mean, absolutely without a shadow of a doubt. The blinking is so mechanical. It's mechanical. Okay? It's not natural. There's no natural movement, stuff like that. So when everybody started beating it apart, saying, yeah, that's fake, and there were certain people that analyzed it, put his face on it, and imposed it, and it was a perfect match and stuff like that. So what are the animatronics that was made was based on his likeness, okay? And so then he has to up his game because everybody's caught on to him. Then okay, they're caught on that these things ain't cutting the mustard. So then he has the one face that's looking through the log, and it's a black face, and there's actually movement. There's real eyes, real movement. But how come we don't see the whole Bigfoot? It's just the face. It's just the head. Because again, he's faking it. He's taking his hoax to another level because people are catching on. So he's got to make a better hoax and stuff like that. I think that's where his downfall was. He muddied the water. He muddied the water of his own research. Nobody's going to take Todd Standing can find Bigfoot tomorrow. Get some of the best evidence ever because the man does go way out in the middle of nowhere. He does go out in the woods. He camps out there. He takes people out there and stuff like that. So his opportunity of actually getting evidence is actually pretty good. Okay? But the problem is once he does, nobody's going to believe him. This is the boy cried wolf. Nobody's going to believe him because he muddied the waters. See what I'm saying? That's why on my channel, I don't call anything Bigfoot or anything like that. I don't do pictures. I try to film. That's what I do. I try to film. Okay? And because it's all about integrity, guys. It's all about integrity. We have a guy here in there's a few in Florida that I don't care for that do the same thing. It's all about the hoax. Okay? But there was this one, I forget their names. I could get the name, but I don't know their name. But they put out some vocalizations that were very primate, very, very, very primate vocalizations, okay? And they put this out there, and they showed them walking a trail, and you hear this vocalizations like monkeys. These monkeys are going off and stuff like that. Well, somebody went, did the research, and found the audio that matched perfectly to their video, where all they did was take this audio and put it over a video of them walking through the woods. It was picture perfect. It was the same audio. And it was audio taken off of a documentary on monkeys. But he took that sound and posted it on his video to say that they were getting these primate vocalizations. That's what I tell people. You've got to be a skeptic, okay? I'm a 110% believer in Bigfoot, without a shadow of a doubt. Big believer in Bigfoot. I know this thing exists. I'm a knower. Okay, but you still have to go in it with skepticism. I've heard me say this a million times. It's one of my favorite quotes. Skepticism creates questions. Questions create answers. So you always go into it with some skepticism because you're not being skeptic of the existence. You're skeptic of the evidence that's being presented. Okay, and that's why I tell you guys, these people that go out there every week, all the time, and they're throwing this evidence at you. Oh, look what I found! Look what I found! I got this! I got this! I got this! You know what I mean? It's a big red flag for me. It's a big red flag because guys, I go out all the time, and there's times I come out of the woods and I say, "Hey guys, I didn't get anything. I didn't get anything." You know what I mean? And sometimes it's something very simple. Sometimes the evidence I get is something simple. I had one time I was done. I was actually doing my exit portion of the video. I was heading back to the truck. So I had about, I don't know, about a half a mile walk left to get to my vehicle. And I'm talking to the camera and everything. And all of a sudden you hear this, just loud. To me, being a fisherman, it sounded like, when you ever snag your rod and you're pulling and pulling until the line breaks. That's what it sounded like. This loud, and it jerked my head. And I'm the only one out there, and this noise was loud, and it came across this pond, and I zoomed in with the camera, and but I don't know what caused it, but it was very loud. There's been times I'm walking in the woods talking, and as I'm talking, you get a fantastic wood knock. Um, those are all anecdotal. They happen spontaneously, and it happens rarely. Okay, I spent 5 days in the woods, me and Brian Darcy, and we really didn't get anything. Sorry, I haven't caught up with the chat room guys. I'm sorry. Let me look at it real quick. Da, 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 da. Yeah, Todd is something else. Yes, he is. Uh, Texas. That's the point I was making, Steamboat. Yeah, I think his intentions are good, but his evidence is fake. And once you do that, you muddy the water. Yeah, if you send it to the email, I'll check it out when I'm done with the video, Steamboat. I'll check it out and look at it, in private. I won't put it on down here. Exactly, Steamboat. It's stuff like that. When they do those things, it muddies the water. So when you got people that come in that want to look at the evidence, and then they see the evidence is bullshit, what do we expect? See what I'm saying? What do we expect? You know what I mean? I've done it. I've done it. You know what I mean? I've called people out. I've called people out. Last year, I made a very clear point last year. Okay, very clear point. Because a lot of things led up to me doing this, and I'm not going to go into people's personal matters, but it pissed me off enough that I was like, you know what? Something needs to be said. Something needs to be done. So last year at the Bigfoot conference, I was a speaker on stage with the Skunk Ape Roundtable. So when it got to my portion where I was speaking, I made it abundantly clear when I stood up, or talked on the mic anyways, to the crowd. There was a particular person in the audience. I looked directly at them when I made this comment. There are no experts in this field. None. There's no experts. We're all working on theory, ideas, and circumstantial evidence. You know what I mean? We have evidence. Okay, I found things I can't explain. I don't know what created them. I don't know what did this. I don't know what made that vocalization. I don't know what, I mean, I've had some close encounters that to this day, when I go to bed at night, they don't leave my mind. That's why I'm kind of upset I'm not camping this Christmas. I usually camp every Christmas. The last 2 Christmases in a row, I had encounters. Well, at least one Christmas. But I won't be able to make it this year due to work. Excuse me. So anyways, I looked at this person and made it abundantly clear, because this is somebody that loves to have the title expert. They love that. And if you don't say that they're an expert, they get upset. They literally get upset because you didn't call them an expert. You know what I mean? But there are no experts. Okay? You can be an expert in a certain area. Like, for example, I'll use Jeff Meldrum. I respect that man. I think Jeff Meldrum is amazing. I've got an opportunity to meet him and talk to him. That was at the Bigfoot conference 2 years ago. I really, really like him. I love watching his interviews and stuff like that. Jeff Meldrum is great. Um, but he is an expert in his field that he brings to the table of the whole picture of Bigfoot. See what I'm saying? He's just bringing in what he's an expert in. And he has the letters behind his name to say he's an expert in that field, which is anthropology and bipedal motion. That's what he brings to the field. See what I'm saying? So he's an expert in that. But there's no expert in Bigfoot. See what I'm saying? He's bringing his expertise and saying, and he said this, that there is enough evidence in his field, looking at it through his eyes, in the science that he brings to it, that this thing exists. He doesn't deny that this thing exists. And he literally, when I asked him, we were sitting there talking one morning, and he said that Bigfoot deserves to have time and money spent investigating it. You know, which is fantastic when you have somebody like that literally um, takes his science and can come up with that conclusion. I'm not talking some researcher that, like myself. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a scientist, and I don't really use science. Okay, I go out there looking for this thing as a person, as a hunter. You know what I mean? I'm looking for tracks. I'm looking for signs. I'm looking for different things that tells me I'm in a prime area that is going to give me the best opportunity to film this thing. That's what I'm doing. So just like a hunter, I got to find deer tracks. I got to find scrubs, scrapes, scat, trails, different things like that tell me I'm in a good area to nail that buck that I've been looking for all year. It's the same with Bigfoot. When I'm going out there, I'm following game trails. I'm looking for different signs. I'm looking for different things. If I find, evidence, I'm start looking at the trees. Did this thing rub against a tree or bump against a tree? Did he leave hair? I'm looking at everything. See what I'm saying? But there's no science involved. The science would be if I find hair and I bag it, the science would be me paying the money to go have it DNA tested to find out what did I just find. I'm not willing to take that bet. I'm just not. I'm not going to spend that type of money to DNA something for it to come back. Either they're going to tell me it was something else and lie to me. They could lie to me and say, hey, when you send this back to this guy in Florida, just tell him it's a bear. Or it really is a bear. Either way, I just wasted money on a species I'm not looking for. See what I'm saying? That's what makes it tough. Hey, Mist. I'm just going to say Mist because I don't know the LK. No, yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier in the show. I definitely can't disregard any person's experience with Sasquatch. Um, like I said, it's when we do the podcast. Like I said, if you guys, this is not a podcast. This is me taking an opportunity to talk to you guys every other week. Go to the podcast. Go to the Sasquatch Unredacted. That's me and Johnny. So go to Sasquatch Unredacted podcast. Subscribe, and like I said, we bring these people on. We want to hear their encounter. We want to hear the researchers. We want to hear. That's why the whole show is about them. That's why we don't interrupt them. We bring them on, let them talk. You know what I mean? We don't discount it. We don't discredit and stuff like that. It's really up to you guys who are very intelligent, that are very interested in this field, to discern what you believe and what you don't believe. Yeah, Unredacted. It's Sasquatch Unredacted. And we call it Unredacted is there's no cover up here. There's no, we expect that every person that's coming on our show, that's why we take that time period to talk to them, we interview them, we speak to them, and we try to get a feel for them, that when somebody's coming on the show to tell their encounter or talk about their research, that they are being 100% truthful. It's all about integrity. And that's one of the things we discuss with them when we're doing the interview is it's all about integrity. And with me and Johnny. Me and Johnny are both prior military. So we really take that knowledge of integrity and intestinal fortitude and we apply it to what we're doing. We don't want somebody coming up there. Now, I'm telling you, if I'm interviewing somebody and all of a sudden they go into some rant about, Well, then I was surrounded by this glowing light, and all of a sudden I was lifted off the ground, and then, um, this creature came out of the woods and put his arms around me. I mean, it starts getting kind of crazy. I'm going to cut that interview. I'm going to cut that interview because we're going into a realm that is unprovable. That's why Jeff Meldrum, and I've said this a million times. Y'all have heard me because it's my favorite quote by Jeff Meldrum. You can't prove an unknown with an unknown. You just can't. Okay, that's why that show last night with Todd Neese, fantastic show, guys. If you have questions about eye shine, orbs, and portals and stuff like that, watch the show. Watch the show through in its entirety because he breaks it down to you why that he's not discrediting what people are seeing or what they feel that they experienced. What he's trying to tell you is there's a logical explanation, and this could be it. So if you saw orbs, we're not saying you didn't see orbs, but let's look at what those were and why you were able to see them. And he brings that to the forefront where it makes sense. You're like, okay, I get it. See what I'm saying? It's like me. I have I have some health issues. Okay, and that's why I tell people if I don't go in the woods, it's either due to work or due to health. So I have this issue, and sometimes I see balls of light that don't exist. They're actually in my brain or in my eyes. You can't see them, but I see these white around my peripheral. I'll see these white lights. Okay, and so I go to my eye doctor and I say, look, this is what I'm seeing. This is what's going on, and stuff like that. So um, he goes into stuff like that. Like my eye doctor will explain to me, this is why you're seeing this. That your condition is going to create these things, and this is why you're seeing them and stuff like that. See what I'm saying? Um, so it's explained, and I walk away. When I see them now, I ignore them because I know I'm not going crazy, and that I understand that the condition I'm dealing with is going to cause these things. It's the same thing that he goes into as far as what are things that can create your perception of seeing what you're seeing. So it was a fantastic podcast. I really recommend that you guys go and see it. Please subscribe to that channel as well. You guys are supporting me. I mean, I'm happy. Like I said, this is not a monetary gain type channel. I'm never going to monetize. And I have over 1,000 subscribers, and I'm very happy with that. And I'm thankful, and I'm thankful to you, and I'm thankful to God. I think it's fantastic that that many people are interested in what I'm doing. Um, but I also would like people to get involved in that podcast as well because we're going to have some very interesting people on there. Okay. Also, talking about integrity, and we've gone over this in the past. We also do an affidavit. It's not mandatory. I'm making it very clear. So I'll use Steamboat as an example. So Steamboat, if we talk and you want to be on the show and I bring you on the show, you have the option, Steamboat. It's an option. You don't have to. But we have, yeah, Sasquatch Unredacted. We have a affidavit, and it's basically a form that we send you, and it says, "I solemnly swear that everything I'm telling, the evidence I'm showing, and the account that I give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth." That's basically all it is. And you send that back to us, okay? That's all it is, okay? The reason why we do that is one, integrity, okay? Because if somebody says, "Well, I don't believe Steamboat's story," hey, look, I'm telling you, he signed an affidavit, so whatever he's saying, he's telling you it's the truth. Now, is it the truth or not the truth? People can still lie, absolutely. But we're just saying he said it was the truth. Two, down the road, when we want to prove the existence of this thing, we've got 100 of these affidavits. We can hold them up. We can hold them up and say, you can't say these 100 people are liars. You just can't do it. You can't sit here and say all 100 people in this are liars. See what I'm saying? That's why we want people, if they want to sign it, sign the affidavit. But it's not mandatory. We're still going to interview you and stuff like that. So, but it's just another step to say, hey, we're trying to bring integrity and the truth to the program. That's why our catch slogan for the podcast is finding the truth. The only way we can find the truth is for people to give us the truth. And that's what we're trying to do. Give us the truth. We'll put the truth out there. Okay, we will. Sasquatch Unredacted is new podcast. Yes, we just started a podcast. We've only had 2 episodes. So those of you guys that go and subscribe now, easy to catch up on where we're at. Both interviews were fantastic, fantastic. Really enjoyed them. But it's like I said, Johnny has Sasquatch Encounter Brigade. Okay, so I'll plug his channel. If you want to see what Johnny's doing on his channel, it's Sasquatch Encounter Brigade. If you want to see what I'm doing, it's BFFG Bigfoot Research. But me and Johnny have come together to collaborate on a podcast. Okay, this is not a podcast. I'm not interviewing anybody. I'm not, this is me talking to you guys because you guys are my subscribers are very important to me, and I want them to be a part of the process. So that's why I do this. But we came together and we created a podcast. Okay, so that's just a collaborate. It's brand new. I think the last time I checked, we had 40 subscribers. So we're trying. The goal, my personal goal, is I'm a goal-oriented person. I think everybody should set goals, daily goals, monthly goals, and yearly goals. My goal right now is for this thing to hit 500 because YouTube, the more subscribers you get, it opens up different things that you can do with your channel. That's all. And and right now we're kind of restricted on some of the things that we can and cannot do until I get enough viewership and enough subscriptions and stuff like that. Then it opens up those channels so we can do more. This channel is already at that. I can do everything that I need to do on the channel. Where Johnny's got, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers. He's wide open. He can do whatever. But our podcast is really restricted, where there's just certain things we can't do until we hit a certain goal. So that you guys would really help us if you can. You really help us. Yeah, Steamboat. I remember when I was at 125. You know what? To be honest with you, Steamboat, I was as happy at 125 as I am at over 1,000 right now. It just tickled me. It tickled me when I started a channel and I had 5 subscribers. I was like, wow, 5 people in the world, you know what I mean, is paying attention to what I'm doing. So I was very excited. Like I said, I'm very appreciative of subscribers, big time. Okay, I don't think a lot of channels give subscribers enough credit. We couldn't do this if we didn't have an audience, and we couldn't do this if we didn't have like-minded people interested in what we're doing. And every one of you guys are very, very interested in this. And like I said, a lot of you guys can't do what we do. You don't have the time, the money, or the resources. So we've got to see it in your point of view that we're not just doing it for us. We're doing it for the general public also. So yeah, same thing with me, Steamboat. It just happened. I was using YouTube as a place, just a dumping ground for my videos because it was filling up so fast on my platforms where I was storing it. And then it just grew. It just grew. And so now, and those, if you just subscribe to this channel, let me explain something to you. Okay? Let me explain something to you. I go out in the woods for 4 or 5 hours. I hike and I film and do different things. When I get home, I've got 4 or 5 hours worth of video to go through to break it down to something that's palatable. Because of people's attention spans, we all know this, I have to narrow it down to 30 or 40 minutes. So that's a lot of video to go through to narrow it down to 30 or 40 minutes. So I do that. I create a video and I put the video out there. But I also do shorts. There's little 30 to 60 second shorts. Those are just fun. I do the people get upset. They're like, oh, I watched that short. There was no Bigfoot. The shorts are not about Bigfoot, guys. The shorts is entertainment. I like music. So I'll do these little shorts of me walking through the woods and I'm playing some Led Zeppelin or some, whatever group, whatever music pops in my head that day. I do this 1 minute video of just walking through the woods and jamming out to some tunes. That's all that is. The video is what I want people to watch. The shorts are just entertainment. That's just, even though the video is entertainment as well, the shorts are just for fun, just to break up the monotony and stuff like that. It gives you guys an opportunity to look at something. I know Dirt Road. Dirt Road's in the chat room. Also check out Dirt Road Bigfoot. He's got a great podcast, Dirt Road Bigfoot. He loves the shorts. He loves the shorts. You know, it's 60 seconds, guys, of a moment to get away from reality. That's all it is. So when I do the video, I'll do in that week's time, I'll do 2 or 3. That's about it. 2 or 3 shorts to kind of get it out there. It's kind of like a commercial. You know, hey, if you like this, come check out the video. Watch the full video and stuff like that. You know, but I do some shorts that are evidence based. There's no music. It's evidence based. I took that 60 seconds of the actual video and focused in on a howl, a wood knock, or something like that. So sometimes I do them evidence based. See what I'm saying? Also do drone footage. Again, drone footage doesn't have sound. So a lot of times I'll take the drone footage and use that in the short. So you guys get an aerial view of the forest that I'm actually hiking in and stuff like that. So, and a lot of people watch it because they love the beautiful scenery. Okay. She didn't show up tonight. I'm kind of sad that she didn't show up, but if y'all see Sunshine, she's an avid watcher, Sunshine. She'll message me when I do the shorts, and she's like, "Oh, I love that song," or "Wow, that area you were walking, it was so beautiful." See what I'm saying? That's what those are for. So, like I said, I like the video. That's what my priority is the video. The shorts are just for fun. They're just something I enjoy doing. If I'm at work and I've got a lunch hour or something like that, and I'm just playing around, I'm like, oh, I'm going to create a short, because I just heard a song on the radio. I'm like, wow, I really like that song. So I'll go into the archives to see if it's something I can use, because, of course, you have copyright infringements if you don't do it right. And then all of a sudden that song's there. I'm like, okay, great. It's in there. I can use it. I'm going to find a good 60 seconds and put that music to it. Just have fun with it. That's what I do. And I do that for your enjoyment. That's all. You know what I mean? As far as the podcast, like I said, that's about it's not necessarily, I'm not saying this rude. It's not, the podcast itself is about the guest. That's why we're quiet. That's why when you watch the podcast, we're not interrupting. We just want to listen to what the person has to say. It's about them. And I notice it's working because when I watch the chat room on the podcast, not a whole lot of activity in the chat room. You're there, but everybody's watching the guest. And that's what we want. That is fantastic because that's why you're tuning in, because you want to hear what this guy has to say. And like I said, this is their time. They're taking their time. This guy was, I think, 2 hours behind us. And so it was early for him. It was late for us. I didn't get to bed till after 10 o'clock at night. And it was a late night for me. And anybody knows me, I'm an early riser. I get up around 3 a.m. every day. So Sunshine, was Sunshine here? I know Sharon was here, but I didn't see Sunshine. Did she? Maybe I did say hi to her. Hopefully she's still watching. She's one of my favorites. Yeah, Sasquatch Theory, Mysteries Unknown podcast. Actually, Miguel with Sasquatch Theory. Me and Miguel know each other. I was interviewed on his show. Me and Miguel became good friends. We're actually trying to discuss a time that me and him can get together and research. Miguel is a fantastic guy. Fantastic guy. So go ahead. Yeah, Steamboat. Dirt Road's asking what's your channel. Steamboat, go ahead and put your channel out there. You can put it on my thing. I don't care. I don't care. If you got a channel, and you want people to see it, put it in the chat room right now. You know what I mean? A lot of times, and Dirt Road will tell you this, if you watch my videos, okay, hopefully people watch it to the end, okay, because at the end of my videos, I will promote channels. Dirt Road will tell you. I'll put Dirt Road on there, Sasquatch Theory, Sasquatch Encounter Brigade, Mid-Florida Bigfoot Group. I put channels that I respect and that I think are doing good things, I will put them at the end of my videos so people will have the opportunity. Damn it, I did that again. People will have the opportunity. Y'all can still hear me? Somebody give me a thumbs up real quick. Um, to give them an opportunity to check out those other channels as well. So, okay, so it's Steamboat, Texas. Steamboat, Texas. Steamboat at Steamboat, Texas. All right, good deal. So I said it out loud. So anybody listening, those that are not in the chat room and stuff like that, hey, check out. He's a subscriber, and I like to support subscribers. I've done it in the past. I want to help them out any way I can. Um, I've helped a few podcasts in the past, and once they're self-sufficient and they're moving on cruise control, then I move on to help somebody else. And I've helped quite a few people. Um, Dirt Road will tell you, I'll help out. Yeah, we'll try to send it to me. Matter of fact, Steamboat, if you send it to me in an email, then I can post it or something like that, or I'll put it, if I remember when I do my video, I'll put it at the end of the video so people can see it and stuff like that. So um, anybody got any questions? Because we're this is the longest show I've ever done. We're almost at 2 hours. Because I can talk Bigfoot for days. I can talk Bigfoot, you know. Um, but if anybody's got any questions, you know, because it looks like we got quite a few people in the chat room. So if anybody's got any questions, I know there's a lot of people watching the show right now. Jump in the chat, ask a question. In the end, it's just my opinion. You don't have to like it or dislike it. I'm honest. That's the one thing everybody will tell you is you may not like what I have to say, but it will always be the truth. It will always be the truth. You know, I will always give you my honest, true opinion of, you know, whatever we're talking about. But what my advice is, um, me too, LOA, is the population growing in Florida. Population of what, Steamboat? Population of people or population of Bigfoot? Because if you're talking people, it's skyrocketing. It's skyrocketing. Um, I think we're over 1 million new residents a year or something like that. As far as Bigfoot, good answer. Don't know. Um, I don't know. But right now in the state of Florida, big controversy because even though I really, really like Ron DeSantis, I think he's a fantastic governor, and I'm glad we have him as our governor. Um, he's not doing much to stop this proposal that would now open up land that was strictly preserves. Okay, these were places that were literally signified as preserves. He's opening them up to sell some portions of those lands throughout the state. It's like 18 different locations throughout the state, I think, the last I heard, to golf courses, to building golf courses. I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy because I guarantee you 90% of those areas that they're going to do that, they're probably Bigfoot habitats or skunk ape habitats. There's a surge of encounters out here. Started in 2021 has only gotten more frequent. Well, when you look at those, Steamboat, as far as the frequency, see if there's encroachment on environment. You know, if it's an area that human population is spending more time at due to construction or due to whatever reason, there's more human interaction that could cause more frequent sightings and encounters. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think as we move forward in this research, these areas are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I've gone areas that are just humongous, 90,000 acres, but it's completely surrounded by people. So that 90,000 acres is all they have left. And 90,000 acres is not a lot when you're trying to create a stable population to continue growth. 90,000 acres just won't cut it. No, I don't. I don't. I have to disagree, Steamboat. I don't think they're getting closer to us. I think we're getting closer to them. I think we're giving them no choice. I think we're giving them no options. I mean, I hate to say it, man, because humans are cancer. Humans are cancer. The one thing we're good at is destroying things. You know what I mean? Either it be forest, environment, um, clean air, whatever. You know what I mean? We're good at destroying things, and we're good at um, taking away a lot of things that other creatures need. You know, food sources, water sources, whatever. So I think as we continue to do that, and as populations grow, um, especially the mass exodus from certain states like California and New York, we're seeing a lot of that. They're all coming to Florida, mostly because of the freedoms that we have. I mean, Florida is a very free state. You know, um, there has to be places for them to live. So construction, I drive around. I'm seeing areas where we're losing agriculture. I'm talking thousands of acres of orange groves that are being mowed down so they can put in a residential area. You know what I mean? So those are resources that we're taking away from ourselves. So when you see the price of oranges or orange juice or anything orange related skyrocket, it's because there's less of it around. We're destroying. I'm telling you guys, I drive past groves every day, and they're just tearing them down to build these residential areas, and it sucks. You know. Yeah, Chris, I agree, Chris. And a third, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot. That's what 33%. That's a lot, and I see it every day. I live, guys. I live in the country. Okay, I live. I keep hitting this cord when I put my hand down. Um, you guys weren't here at the beginning. I have some issue going off my mic. It wouldn't work, and so I've got this cord in my way because I had to plug it in. I got to figure it out. But like I said, I'm in the country where my biggest fear going to work and back is hitting a deer or a hog. But out there, there's also farmland. So we have citrus, we have cattle, and of course we have forests. And I'm seeing it disappear. I'm just seeing it disappear, and it's sad. It's very sad. You know, it's getting really bad. It's getting really bad, Steamboat. You know, that's why I encourage everybody. I get a lot of the statewide news here in the capital. Oh, do you? Yeah, Chris. Um, Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, dude. That's why I tell people get in the woods. It's not going to be here forever. Get your kids out there, get your grandkids out there. Start teaching them some things. Teaching them, there's basic things that you can teach people in the forest. You know, one of the things that's helped me when I've gotten lost and I needed direction is trees. Okay, in trees, if you look at a tree, it grows mold on one side of the tree, on one side, and on the other side there's no mold. Okay, and that's because one side always aims towards the sun, and one side is always shaded. See what I'm saying? So that tells you a direction, north or south, to go through in the woods. Teach your kids these things. Teach them how to make a fire. I mean, teach them different prints they see in the forest and stuff. Deer print, hog print, panther print, stuff like that. It's very important to get people out in the woods. Very important. And always take a camera because you don't know what you're going to come across. You know what I mean? And you might be lucky to see a Bigfoot. Like I said, 95% or better of Sasquatch sightings were happenstance. Were happenstance. I was riding down the road and the thing walked in front of me. I went outside to take the garbage out and it was standing in the road. I was hiking to my favorite fishing spot and this thing was on the other side of the lake. It's hikers, it's campers, it's hunters. It's very rare. It's a researcher. You know what I'm saying? We're out there looking for it and we can't find it because it's always happenstance. See what I'm saying? And so if you get out in the woods, all it does is increase your numbers on seeing this thing. But I guarantee you something. I'll guarantee you one thing. If you never see a Sasquatch, you will have fun in the woods. It's a win-win. Every single time I go out, when I get home, I'm like, man, I'm so glad I went out today. Even though I didn't get anything, I am so glad I went and walked in the woods. You know. Let's see here. Let me get caught up in the chat room. River near me. I will probably visit tomorrow. Out here, most encounters. Engineers. Florida Panther cross right. Oh, that's a good point, Chris. You know, Chris says he's had a Florida Panther walk right in front of him and he didn't get a picture of it. Same thing has happened to me, Chris. I literally had the camera in my hand and I'm walking along a trail and I got 5 feet, probably 5 feet of a buck just bedded down in front of me, and I never saw him. I didn't see him until he jumped up and he sprinted off into the woods. Not enough time to get the camera out and film. Not enough time. And that's when I did a video on that because I'm like, that's why, as researchers, we need to film continuously because it'll happen that fast and we'll miss it that fast. You know, and if it was a Sasquatch, I would have never gotten him. I would have never got him. You know what I mean? Never got him. Things happen so quickly. So, any other question, guys? Anything? Nothing? We've been gone for 2 hours and 6 minutes. That's the longest one I've ever had. So let me say, I thank you guys again. Y'all made this amazing. I've had so much fun tonight. You guys are friggin' amazing. It's you guys that make this every 2 weeks possible because I'm working off of you. You're asking questions. You're doing this and that. I start off with a topic, but it can go anywhere. That's why I tell everybody the show is let's talk Bigfoot because I'll pick a subject, but then we just start getting into everything, and that's you guys. You know what I mean? That's you guys. You guys are awesome because you ask questions and you want to know, and I want to answer and I want to know. So I'm thankful, and I want God to bless each and every one of you guys because you guys are amazing. Christmas is coming up, guys. I hope you guys have a fantastic holiday, fantastic Christmas. I got to work. That's the nature of the beast of what I do. I don't get time off. You know, if a holiday falls during my period, that I'm there, I have to work. Even though I'm the boss, still got to be there. It's all about integrity and setting the example for everybody else. I probably won't call you tonight, Steamboat, but I will give you a call at some point. I will. I promise. And I'm a man of my word. It just probably won't be tonight because it's getting kind of late. And I'm gonna when I get off here, I got to put things away, and then I'm gonna relax and watch some football or whatever sports I can find on TV. Um, oh, absolutely, Steamboat. Yeah, I mean, YouTube is a great tool, and it's what's created friendships for me. If it went for the internet, I wouldn't know who Dirt Road was. I wouldn't know who Johnny was. I wouldn't know who Randy Harrington was. I wouldn't know Miguel. Now, I mean, there's a whole litany of people that I would not know exist if it wasn't for the internet and YouTube. So I am thankful for that. You're right. That's a good point. You know, good point. I appreciate that. But again, um, you know, I want everybody to have a Merry Christmas. Yes, in my house we say Merry Christmas. Don't want to offend anybody, but in my house we say Merry Christmas. And I just want everybody to be safe and enjoy the holidays. Spend time with your family. You know, time is the one thing that we can never get too much of. You know, it's like land. You know, everything has an expiration date. So enjoy your families, enjoy your time, and you know, God bless each and every one of you guys. Like I said, you know, y'all made this worth it. When I sit down and I do this, I'm always like, man, I wonder how it's going to go tonight. I wonder what, you know, am I going to have anybody, you know? And you guys come through every single time. I don't know why I worry, but you guys come through every single time. You know, same to you, Steamboat, all you guys, everybody in the chat room, Merry Christmas. You know, but God bless each and every one of you guys. And again, check out Sasquatch Encounter Brigade. That's Johnny. Check out Dirt Road Bigfoot. Check out Steamboat's channel. It's in the chat room. Um, and if you have not subscribed to BFG Bigfoot Research, I would appreciate that. But definitely, please subscribe to Sasquatch Unredacted Podcast. Okay? It's a brand new podcast. We just started it. Please subscribe, hit the like button, share it, help us out. We greatly appreciate it. And I want to, like, again, God bless each and every one of you guys. And I look forward. I'm really excited about doing this again in 2 weeks. So enjoy the holidays, and I will see you guys again in a couple of weeks. God bless. Take care, and I will talk to you guys soon.